Book 180. Good morning, good morning. Welcome back to Morning Motivation with Matthew Daniels, and today I'm going to tell you guys about the ominous omen and the unblemished goat. That's right, the ominous omen and the unblemished goat. But what is Matthew Daniels talking about? A long time ago, in a kingdom known as Ugurtha, a king who had been conquering all lands was wondering if his next war campaign would be successful or not. The king was a wicked king who murdered many men, forced their wives to marry his soldiers, and sold their children off into slavery. Within his kingdom, in order to determine the will of the gods, the priest would perform a certain ritual. Calling the priest before him, the king watched as the high priest brought out the ritual goat which had no blemish. The priest, who was one of my ancestors no less, laid the goat down in front of the people and used a knife made from the sacred metal which only the high priest could wield to slit its throat. Then he pierced its belly and allowed its entrails to fall out. The high priest, along with the other priests, studied the entrails and then gave their report. "The gods have spoken," the high priest proclaimed. "They have said that this goat is not sufficient to describe the evils which will befall the kingdom." Confused, the king ordered that they bring another unblemished goat, since the first one was not sufficient. The priests did as they were commanded and performed the ritual with another unblemished goat. Again, they gave the same ominous omen, and again, the king ordered another goat to be killed. The priests killed goat after goat, and every time they did, they were told through divination that the goat was not sufficient to describe the evils which would befall the kingdom. Seeing that all of the goats were indeed unblemished, the king grew angry that they were called insufficient, and he grew eager to know the evils which would befall his kingdom. "Perhaps the priests are lying to me about the omen," he thought. Becoming enraged, the king decided to violate the standards of the gods and perform the ritual himself. He went out before the people and grabbed an unblemished goat himself, and he then began to perform the ritual. The high priest warned him not to intervene, but he would not listen. The king grabbed the knife, which only the high priest could wield, and he tried to slit the throat of the goat. The goat, seeing the knife in the hand of the king, began to jump and kick. It then rammed the king as hard as it could. Totally caught off guard, the king fell to the ground, and the knife plunged deep within his belly. Shocked, the high priest ran to help the king, but he was too late. The knife had opened him up, and his entrails had fallen on the ground. The high priest's eyes grew wide as he looked down at the king's entrails. He could see the will of the gods within them. "The gods have spoken," the high priest said. "The king is wicked, and he was leading the kingdom to ruin. We must turn from the ways of the king, or we all will either die or go into slavery." The people, who did not truly like the king anyway, made his son the new king, and the entire kingdom worked to right the wrongs of their previous king. And so, the morning motivation of today is the ominous omen and the unblemished goat. In life, we are always looking for answers about how we should think, feel, and behave. And often, we seek the answer to these questions from outside means and methods, when in reality, the best answers to be found can only be found within us. And almost always, the answer is simply to right our previous wrongs and do that which is good. There is power in righteous living, and there is progress in doing kind acts. So today, if you are wondering where you should go from here, the best advice is this: look within yourself and correct your wrongs, and always strive to do that which is good. And remember, you are awesome, you are amazing, you are wonderful, and you are great. And you are going to change the world. I just hope I'm still alive to see it, family. I'm out. Good morning.